Okay, good afternoon and welcome everybody to another virtual Lunch and Learn from Jane Irrigation. I'm Richard Restuccia, Vice President of Water Management Solutions, and I'm really excited to learn more today about Amnon emitter line in general, and tubing. And it's interesting because a lot of people say, gee, this is kind of boring, right? How complex or how interesting can tubing be? It's just tubing. The water in, comes out in other areas. And I think what you're going to find is there's a whole lot more to it than that. And if I'm investing a lot of money into a field where I'm growing crops, trees, whatever, I'm going to want to make sure I have the right tubing. And we're fortunate because we have Kevin Stewart presenting today, who actually makes this subject very interesting. The other thing I want to make mention of before I introduce Kevin is that today at the end, we're also going to announce a way that all of you have an opportunity to win a Apple iPhone 11. That's the really nice iPhone, and it presents a nice, easy way for you to enter and get involved with that. So with that, I just want to say, I've known Kevin for quite a few years now, and Kevin's very active with growers, and I just want to mention that, as you're learning and as you're developing new ways to use drip irrigation or micro irrigation, Kevin's always a great resource to reach out to. He cares about water conservation, he cares about his customers, and he's always there to lend a hand. And that's really what I appreciate a lot about Kevin. Not to mention, he's a certified irrigation agricultural specialist, recognized by the IA, and has really grown up in agriculture. So, because of all that, he's just a great resource. I'm glad he's on our team. And with that, I'll say welcome, Kevin.
Thanks, Richard. I appreciate it. Happy to be here and excited to talk about something that some people might think is boring, but when you been involved with this, for as long as you have and I have, there's nothing more exciting than to talk about irrigation improvements and technology and how things have evolved over the past couple decades. And I do appreciate you hosting this. This has been a great platform for a lot of us here at Jane to share kind of our thoughts and ideas about our product line. And I know we've had a lot of active people that keep tuning in. And so I'd like to say thank you to them for supporting us and coming back to learn a little bit more about Jane Irrigation and our products. Today, we'll focus mainly really kind of talking about our Amnon emitter line and kind of how that really came about and what that has looked like since really its inception to where we are right now. So I've been with this company with Jane for 11 years, and I've had the opportunity to be a part of a few different rollouts with different technology and product offerings, and it's exciting, and we do feel like this product really has been a revolution in our industry, and because of new technologies and applications, we've been able to really apply this towards. I'd like to just kind of take a step back. Sometimes, when you've reached a significant achievement or success or volume in a category, it's nice to kind of reminisce a little bit and take a step back on kind of where you started or where maybe the company that you work for started with its product line. And I just put together a quick timeline of events starting back in 1964 with Jane's first dripper. It was actually a button dripper that would screw into either metal or plastic, and it would use that screw as pretty much the kind of the channel, for water to make its way through the outlet. In 1967, they created a labyrinth, which created a little bit better channel for water to flow and come through. A lot of us that have been in this business for a while remember the days, and we still sell these products, but we have these round drippers. And in 1977 was kind of our first entrance into that, and it was a non-PC round dripper. And you can kind of get an image there. A few years later, we developed a PC product, a pressure compensating product that was in that round dripper. And these have been good, solid products, but they do take a lot of material. And as time passes and engineering gets better, and you know, people, you know, are really thinking about how to make this a little bit better. We've been able to optimize really the size and go to a flat dripper, a flat emitter, which is our Amnon drip. So in 2005 is pretty much when Amnon got its start. And a few years later, we took it one step further and created a secondary or another product called Top Drip. Basically, it's kind of it's got the same characteristics, a lot of the same flow rates. We've optimized the size of the emitter, and you know, with technology getting better, these outlets, they're all laser drilled, and so it takes quite a bit of precision to be able to get these dialed into where you're kind of coming in on a smaller footprint and trying to laser drill these outlets, these holes for the water to come out. So a lot of cool and exciting things have happened over the past 30, 40 years. You know, as we sit here in 2020, you know, we're still looking for what's around the corner. We've made continuous improvements as in these products as we've been trying to scale this market, and we've made a lot of improvements in our technology as well, in our QC process, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about that as we go through. Just a real quick summary on what Amnon EMITTERLINE is. And I don't know if my Richard, can you see this on the screen?
Yep, we can see it in good detail. We see your cursor as well.
Perfect. So we introduced this product in 2009 into the U.S. market. We manufacture this product in Fresno, and this is just kind of a blown up view of kind of what this looks like if you separate a few things out. But you've got kind of the the bottom part of the emitter. You've got the emitter flow track with our silicon diaphragm that really just goes over the what we call the bath, and then you've got the top of the emitter where water flows out. So we've been making this product for the last 11 years using a premium grade resin, very, very particular about that, and we use precision molds from our parent company, and a lot of time, a lot of dollars have been invested to make sure that we're getting each emitter is really exactly the same as the next. You want to make sure that you're getting good flow, and it's good uniform flow throughout. Somebody might say, well, what's the difference? If you have a small little variation, you got two emitters. Well, what if you got thousands of emitters in a field, right? You can't afford to really be off in this. Over the past decade, we've been really able to be a part of some really significant markets. The rise of the almond market to surpass 1 million acres. That's been, and I think for a lot of companies, has been a great industry and great market for us to be a part of. Thousands and thousands of coils of our Amnon have ended up in fields. We've kind of tapped into the wine grape market in various places in California and the Pacific Northwest. Hops have been another great market opportunity for us in the Pacific Northwest. And believe it or not, we're seeing more and more turf applications where we're taking this to the landscape industry, and people are looking for new and innovative ways to irrigate their lawn other than using a sprinkler. So,
it's interesting, Kevin, you mentioned, you can't have different amounts all over the place. And I just look at that, the photo behind me, right? And you think about how hard it is to actually get every tree the same size over a big area. But, these professional growers have figured this out. It's amazing.
it's amazing. They've done a fantastic job, and they've been, they've been backed by some of the, the industry's best in our field. People that have been in irrigation forever, that really, I mean, this is their passion, and they want to make sure that, people take a lot of pride in what they do, and you drive past a field, and it's nice to say, I may have had a small hand or a small part in the success of that operation. So I know I take a lot of satisfaction in that. Just a quick overview. In our 30 minutes together, I wanted to talk about kind of the functionality of the product. Wanted to talk a little bit about uniformity. Talk about an industry-leading warranty that Jane has rolled out, and I just wanted to show a few applications of this product. This picture right here is of a large wine grape expansion up in the Pacific Northwest, where nothing is flat. You've got you're kind of farming on the side of different hills and mountains, and so kind of exciting to be a part of that. Just a kind of a view of this product. The basic function of this is you get water that's flowing in from multi directions, right? It's coming in directly from the top, and it's coming in from the sides as well. And you can see this circular inlet, and this is where water really kind of enters into the chamber. It goes through this inlet. It actually goes through this this tortuous path, this emitter pathway. Kind of makes a little bit of a turn, and you can't see the second part of it because of this top view. But so the water makes its way through this channel. This channel has really been designed to regulate the water, but also keep it in suspension and keep a good vortex of water moving through, so that particles don't really get stuck, that they can kind of move right through the emitter pathway. We have this silicon diaphragm, and it really just covers the bath. There's a lot of other products where this will cover the entire length of the flow path. And we looked at that, and we just felt like, there was a better way to do this, and we just did not want that silicone diaphragm to lay over the pathway. We feel like there's opportunities for that to get pressed down a little bit, and if you press down on that, it can restrict the channel. It'll reduce the height, and just could possibly set something up for plugging or something to happen. So it's just a quick kind of a snapshot, just kind of another angle, so you can kind of see where this diaphragm kind of lays in, and kind of how this water makes its way through the product.
So a quick question, Kevin, that silicone diaphragm, is that to prevent roots penetrating? What's the purpose of that?
Yeah, good question. The silicone diaphragm is really, it's what regulates the water. These products are pressure compensating. And so, for anyone that's not familiar with what PC, pressure compensating, is, regardless of what the pressure is in a system, your flow will remain constant. And so if you're kind of farming on the side of a hill, or you've got a slope, and your pressure, for every foot that you fall, you're going to gain not quite a half a pound of pressure. But if you lose, say you fall 20 feet, in a certain distance, I mean, you could have an increase of 10 psi. So you got to be a little careful with that. So this diaphragm regulates that. It basically just keeps the pressure consistent. It keeps the flow consistent while the pressure might change.
Right. So like on a winery where it's hilly, right? The grapes or the vines at the bottom of the hill aren't getting more water than the ones at the top.
Correct. Right. Everything's going to be pretty evenly. And to take it one step further, we actually have what we call a CNL function, which kind of keeps that system charged, and so it doesn't it doesn't drain down. So if you've got a hill or a pretty good slope, you don't want the bottom to drain out, while the top, still has water. So you want to kind of keep that system charged. And the CNL function is really kind of an internal check valve within the emitter itself. And so if you're pulse irrigating, or if you're irrigating on the side of a slope, just another way to, keep an even distribution of water from top to bottom. When you look at this graph, I wanted to, when we rolled out Amnon, we also rolled out what we call the cascade technology, and which was really kind of the development of this emitter. And this is a velocity indicator, so you can kind of see what the velocity looks like as the water's flowing through the path. We've created a little dimple. Might be a little bit hard to see, but just a little dimple or a divot kind of right there on the edge of these teeth, and that kind of creates that water to where it really kind of creates a cyclonic flow. So it cleans out some of these more vulnerable areas in the corners, and so it's kind of a self-cleaning system. And obviously we want to move water through this emitter as quickly as possible and out the outlet. And so this is just this is kind of the engineering that's gone into it to make sure that we've got a good, robust emitter that doesn't plug.
So Kevin, even though I do have a filter, right, and I've watched your presentations on filters too, and they're great, but even though I have a filter, there's still stuff that gets through.
Yeah, you can have a hard time filtering out silts and clays. That too fine of particles they're going to pass right through any kind of a filter. And if you got a heavy silt load, you want to make sure that you have a product that has a good, robust emitter pathway, something that has a good short distance where it's not traveling too far from when it enters the inlet. So yeah, this Amnon, we feel like is just an excellent choice if you have a heavy silt load, or if you've got a problem with clay, if you got any issues with silting out, this will do a good job. It's not a silver bullet, but it sure works better than a lot of other products in trying to navigate through situations like that.
Right. So really, it's completing the filtering process. It's the last piece of the chain.
Yeah, it's helping move those particles through. For some reason, if there were any organics to get through the sand media filter or whatever you're filtering, hopefully these inlets here, block that out as well. But anything that passes through, we feel like we've created enough vortex, enough velocity in this emitter that it'll push its way through and out the outlet. Just quickly, I wanted to go through and talk about some of the different sizes that we have. We make a 17 millimeter, an 18 millimeter, a 20, and a 22. So we've kind of covered the spectrum there. As far as flow rates, we again, we've got kind of just above a quarter gallon all the way up to a gallon and everything in between. And these we take a lot of pride in making sure that these aren't really approximate values. These are exact values. And so when we say we have a half gallon, we have a 5.3, right? It's not, say, a 5.8 or something higher. So we we publish actual data, and we feel like that's important to be accurate as people are trying to design systems and understand how much water is going to be applied. When we talk about uniformity, probably a good way to talk about this is to talk about the coefficient of variation, which is often referred to as the CV. And it's really, it measures one emitter to the next, and if there's how much variation there is in flow. So the irrigation industry has, they've classified this to where they've used 0.03 or 3%. Anything less than 3 is considered excellent. Anything greater than 3 would fall into either that average category or marginal or even poor. And so, and again, these would be for brand new emitters as far as how we rate these CVs. Our Amnon emitter line has consistently been at 2% or less. And, we've been promoting that. We feel like we've had enough data points and enough history with our CV performing, below 2%. We wanted to, make sure that everyone's aware of kind of what's going on and what that really means. And I just wanted to go through just a quick example. If you've got a crop of almonds, say an 80-acre field, that and you're trying to put on about 48 inches of water, just out of the gate, if you make this conversion, the CV, and there's a calculation where you can convert this over to emission uniformity or distribution uniformity, you can see that if you've got a 7% CV, you're really going to have to put on just over 51 inches of water. And this doesn't include really the entire DU of the field, the design that goes into it, and the irrigation scheduling, and all of those other important factors. This is just talking about the CV component of it. So again, 48 inches is really the target. You can see what a 7% CV just out of the gate really looks like, and you can see what a 2% CV. We're close, right? It's a little bit more. Nothing's completely perfect, but we look at that 2% works out to a 98% EU. That 7% CV works out to about a 93% EU. And again, that's emission uniformity. When you talk about distribution uniformity, you're talking about maybe an entire zone or an entire field. This is really kind of honing in on one drip line. I think what's interesting about this is, given that you've got everything designed, correctly, and you're managing your system, we do see about a 5% difference in water savings just out of the gate with this CV. So you think, well, what does that really mean? What is 5%? Can I see that in the field? Is that something that's going to be noticeable? And you really can. If growers are spending, say, in an almond field, $800 an acre on water and fertilizer, and you're saving 5%, that's really, I think that's about $40 an acre just by choosing a product that has a better CV. So it instantly, pays for itself.
And Kevin, what does CV stand for again?
Yeah, coefficient of variation is what CV stands for. And again, it's a way to measure if you've got 100 different emitters and you line them all up, and they're all supposed to be flowing at say a gallon per hour, right? Just it's kind of a visual way of looking at this. And obviously you want everything to be as close to that 1 gallon per hour as possible. And so obviously having a lower CV puts you in that category and gets you, it's not zero, nothing is zero, which would be, there would be no deviation at all. But with a very low CV, I think a lot of these are fall within maybe one standard deviation from the mean on that.
So then if I understand this correctly, you're going to have to overwater for all the emitters that have the lower CV, right, to get to that gallon per hour or whatever number you're trying to hit.
If you have a higher CV, right, you're gonna have to overwater, even more. So, just in this graph right here, if you're trying to put on 48 inches of water and you have a CV of 7%, you're really gonna have to put on 51 inches of water. And this doesn't take into account, that you've timed your irrigation perfectly, that you've hired a designer to completely design this to make sure that, from beginning to end, everything is perfect. This is just looking at the CV portion of it.
Right.
So
it's very product specific.
Another thing that we've done is we look at ways to maybe save our customers on freight and be more efficient in how we handle this. We've taken this is a 1,000-foot coil of polyethylene of tubing, and we've wound it onto what we call a compact coil. And this is kind of a standard tape, excuse me, coil. So it's a way to wind this a little bit tighter. It comes off just fine. You put water to it, it rounds out really good. It ships extremely well, and we're able to get more items on a pallet, and obviously more pallets per truck and more coils per truckload. And so it helps with our freight density. It's been a good way. We've had a number of this is a newer product, but we've had a number of growers that have rolled this out and have been thrilled. There was a grower farming hazelnuts just south of Portland that recently put this out, and nothing but positive things to say about how it came off the coil, how it came off the spool, and how efficient he was able to install this product.
Yeah, Kevin, I love it from the not just the cost savings, but from a sustainability standpoint too. We always talk about how much it costs to ship tubing, and man, this really lowers the cost, but it also reduces all those outputs that are negative. So I'm really glad to see that.
Yeah. This is just a video. This is about 500 acres of blueberries up in Washington that came off of these compact coils. And let me see if I can get the... All right, well, I'm sorry for the technical glitch here. Just a short video that shows how this comes off. This is double line drip on blueberries. They've already bedded this up. They're laying the drip line down, and then they're going to cover it with kind of this woven material. So sorry about the video not working. We're one of a few companies that have been successfully able to put this our emitter line on what we call large steel reels. Often, we refer to them as big reels, and our standard products come on 1,000-foot coils. On a big reel like this, we're able to put as much as 30,000 feet on one of these, and so it really has increased our installation efficiency with putting more feet per coil. We're able to reduce the number of stops and the number of couplers. And you got to remember, we're a fittings company as well. We love to sell fittings, but nobody, I don't know of any grower that likes to have a fitting in the middle of their field. And so this is one way for us to not always be stopping every 1,000 feet. And so again, we're putting up to 30,000 feet on one of these big steel reels, and then we've increased our freight density. Just it's a good way to ship, and just makes things pretty economic for the grower. So you can see, I don't have a video on how this is rolled out, but it's a pretty seamless process. On a lot of times they'll hook it up to the back of some kind of a four-wheeler or tractor and just run this off of the reel. So when I first joined Jane in 2009, we had just launched our 10-year warranty. The industry standard was at 7 years, and we had brand new equipment. we were competitively priced. We were really trying to scale the business, for this product, and we had all the confidence in the world, right, that we had the right technology, the right people, the right equipment to do this. So we felt like, we could offer a 10-year warranty. And again, the market was at 7. There were a lot of people that followed us to this 10-year warranty. And it was really against environmental stress cracking. That was kind of the main concern. But we felt confident in the material that we were putting in the process. And I've been with this company for 11 years, and I've never had a call where I've had to go out and look at an environmental stress crack. And so, we decided that why stop at 10 years? We feel confident enough in this warranty let's take it to 12 years. And again, I've been with the company 11 years. I know that they've been selling, this product, a little before, and even, some of our other polyethylene tubing. I think if you were to ask anybody in our company if we've had a problem with environmental stress cracking, I think most people, I think everybody would say that no, it's never been an issue. So we offer a 12-year warranty on our heavy wall tubing and heavy wall emitter line against environmental stress cracking. And we feel like this is important. It's our way, it's our commitment to quality. It's our commitment to our customers that we stand behind this product regardless. We don't feel like there's going to be an issue, but if there happened to be something, we would stand behind it. And we're very confident in this product and how it performs. So this is what environmental stress cracking looks like. And you can, not to get, too much into this, but, and it can occur if, if you're not putting in, you can kind of see some of these pores. This is, a product that didn't have 100%, resin. There were different fillers or foams or materials put in to try and maybe lessen the price of the cost of the product. We've taken a pretty firm stance on this, that we want to make sure that we're not using any post-consumer recycled resin. We just feel like our customers, our irrigation dealers, and their customers, growers, have invested too much money in these crops. Everything really hinges on water coming through, and this is a way to deliver not only water but fertilizer. We just don't want to put anything at risk. And so I think there's important questions you should really ask the next time you're in the market to purchase EMITTERLINE. Is I get a list of 6 questions. Did the manufacturer use post-consumer recycled resin? Are there agents or fillers that were used in the tubing? Have you ever had an environmental stress crack? And how many? Again, these are questions to the manufacturer. Do they follow a set of standards, engineering standards? And are there internal tests, for carbon content and UV? These are all things that we do. And which resins, are they purchasing? Are these resins, from, one of the major, chemical companies? So I think just a good list of questions. Eric Olson, the president of Jane Irrigation, did a really good job on a blog article that you can find on our website, that really kind of takes a deeper approach or a deeper dive into understanding what environmental stress cracking looks like, how to avoid it, and just takes a good look at that. As we kind of start to wrap up, I just wanted to go through and just show a few products. This is kind of a younger almond block with our Amnon. It's a double line drip, so we're putting it on both sides of the bed. The emitters are spaced every 36 inches, and it's a 0.53 gallon per hour. Pretty common configuration that we see in the Central Valley, where a lot of these products have.
Evan, do they staple that down at all, or do they just put it on top?
It may get stapled every so often. I don't really think so. I think they lay it on top, and they want to be able to move it around a little bit. I mean, you might find somebody that might secure it or fasten it down, but for the most part, they don't want to put too much time if they've got to move it around a little bit. And you always want to make sure that you have about 10 extra feet at the end of your run length, just so that you have a little bit of slack if you move this around a little bit for whatever reason. Yeah, if they do, I mean, I've walked enough of these fields. I don't remember seeing anything or too many stakes that really fasten it down. So this is a blueberry or a field that's going to blueberries with a 0.29 gallon per hour, a little bit closer emitter spacing, still double line drip. They got the emitter line laid out, and they'll be planting, later in that day. But that's what that looks like. Kind of an exciting opportunity. We been working with an irrigation dealer and a blueberry grower up in the Pacific Northwest in the state of Washington. They took on a 500-acre challenge to plant 500 acres of organic blueberries. And so just kind of a shot of what that looks like. Again, double line drip. They went with a little bit closer spacing. They went with a 12-inch spacing with a 0.42. Pretty sandy soil. They felt like they needed to be a little bit closer on that, but pretty elaborate, impressive system. We were really excited to be a part of that.
Pretty impressive photo too, Kevin. I don't know if you entered that in Michael Derwinko's photo contest. That's a great shot.
Thank you. No, I did not. Yeah, it just shows the scope of it and how large of a project. I mean, this went on, for miles. Again, 500 acres. It was pretty much continuous. There was one split where you get two different fields, but very close in proximity. And lastly, we're seeing more and more people take a look at putting Amnon, or we call it total CV, in our landscape industry, where you're putting this below your turf, below the grass. And if I had a do-over, I've got about 1.5 acres of grass where I live. I think I'd go for this, and put this in. I think it's a decent investment, but I spend a lot of my evenings trying to fix sprinklers and get them just right and make sure I've got good coverage. But yeah, we're seeing more and more homeowners and more commercial type operations, more turf fields that are growing their grass with EMITTERLINE. So this is our total CV, and we named it total CV just again because we have a CV that is so low at 2% or less. So again, this is a big market that our landscape team is really starting to recognize and capitalize on.
Yeah, we're actually part of a soccer field installation at a good size college last year. You can really see that it's going bigger than just from residential lawns to bigger commercial applications. So, all right, now the part that we've all been waiting for, right, is how do we win the iPhone, Kevin?
Yeah, so we love to hear from our dealers and growers and also contractors, anyone that uses our product, whether it's an email, a photo, sometimes, people will send in videos. We appreciate all of that. We welcome all of that. As a way to say thank you and a special promotion, as a follow-up to this presentation, we're going to send out a follow-up email with a kind of a survey where it gives you a chance to upload a photo or a video and answer a few questions and talk about how our Amnon product or maybe our top drip product, they're very similar, how that has been a successful part of your operation, whether it's large scale agriculture or a commercial application or possibly in somebody's backyard. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get a photo or a video telling us what you like about it and how that's worked. We're going to let this go for 2 weeks. For the end of this month, we'll compile these and take a look and figure out who we felt did the best job on putting a photo or video together, and you know, that individual will win a new iPhone 11. And as a way to say thank you. I don't know if you've seen these new iPhones, but fantastic way to capture a moment. And I know, you know, a lot of people in our organization that have these iPhone 11 Pros, and just the video, the quality. I'm amazed as somebody that really has a passion for photography. These are really cool phones, and so our way of saying thank you. Please take us up on this offer. Send us your best video, your best photo of our product in action. We'd love to hear from you. And Richard, I'd like to just say thank you. I'd like to thank the audience for letting me be a part of this. And I've got included my contact information. If anybody has any questions or would like to reach out to me directly about Amnon or any of our products, I'd be more than happy to follow up. So thanks.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to say thank you, Kevin. Great job on the presentation today. Really good, really interesting. And like I said, it takes a subject that may seem not that interesting and makes it interesting and useful. And boy, I understand a whole lot better what I need to do now. So